Master the game. How to handle beta, alpha, and every man in between. Table of contents for Master the Game, How to Handle Beta, Alpha, and Every Man in Between by Ya Boy Rick, aka Mac Rich. Note: from Rick, ladies. Don't go crazy now with this game I'm giving you. There's already a group of powerful men not pleased with my decision to release this book, so be respectful. Thank you, love. Introduction. Welcome to the Art of Control. Why every woman needs this book. On men as the game pieces, understanding their design. The ritual of power, making this practice your way of life. Part 1. The foundation of power. 1. The male ego, a fragile fortress. Cracking the code of confidence and insecurity. The secret weaknesses of alpha and beta men. 2. The game plan, winning without playing fair. Why manipulation is not a dirty word. The psychology of influence, setting the stage. 3. Your power tools, confidence, mystery, and charm. Building an aura they can't resist. And the fine line between being a goddess and a ghost. Part 2. Beta, alpha, and the in-betweeners. 4. Beta males, loyal, eager, and easy to mold. How to make a beta worship you. Turning nice guys into your greatest asset. 5. Alpha males, the kings of the jungle, or so they think. Breaking down the alpha bravado. How to make an alpha work for you without him realizing it. 6. The players and pretenders, handling the smooth talkers. Flipping the script on men who think they're in control. The art of letting them chase without catching. 7. The rich and powerful, taming the untouchables. How to bend wealth and influence to your advantage. Leveling the playing field, using their status against them. Part 3. The ritual of seduction. 8. Sex as strategy, turning pleasure into power. And the art of making him addicted to you. Timing, teasing, and total control in the bedroom. 9. Words that work, mastering the language of seduction. Sweet nothings that sting like poison. Silence, timing, and the power of suggestion. 10. The mystery effect, keeping him guessing. Why men crave what they can't fully have. And the ritual of disappearing and reappearing. Part 4. Advanced tactics. 11. Emotional puppetry, pulling the strings without breaking them. Using guilt, gratitude, and flattery like a pro. How to win arguments before they even begin. 12. The alpha-beta switch, when to use each approach. Turning the loud alpha into a quiet beta. Making the beta think he's alpha, while still obeying you. 13. The fine art of ultimatums and boundaries. When to push, when to pull back. Leaving him thinking he won, even when he lost. Part 5. The black magic of manipulation. 14. The ritual of repetition, making it a lifestyle. And practicing influence until it becomes second nature. Why men are creatures of habit, and how to use that. 15. The dark arts, when to go all in. Advanced techniques for the toughest targets. How to know when it's time to cut your losses. 16. Reinvention, always staying ahead of the game. Evolving as the woman. They can never figure out. Why men will always crave the unpredictable. Part 6. The aftermath of power. 17. Maintaining control, staying in the driver's seat. Keeping the ritual alive in long-term relationships. Why you must never get complacent. 18. What to do when he fights back. How to handle a man who tries to flip the script. Strategies for staying ahead no matter what. 19. Winning every time. The final word. At the power of choice, when you hold all the cards, living your best life while they're trying to keep up. Conclusion: a goddess in a world of mortals. Why you'll never see men the same way again. The ritual is yours now. Go forth and conquer. Bonus chapter: The 10 Commandments of Control. A quick reference guide to dominating any man, anytime. Bonus material for the book. Appendices. Dive deeper into your power. 1. Appendix A. Male Archetypes Cheat Sheet. A quick reference guide for identifying alpha, beta, and hybrid male behaviors. Tailored strategies for each type in a single glance. 2. Appendix B. The Art of Body Language. Nonverbal cues that give away a man's true intentions. How to use your body language to exude control and dominance. 3. Appendix C. Scripts for every situation. And ready-made phrases to deploy in arguments, negotiations, or seduction. And the exact words that hit like black magic every time. Workbook and journal. Master the ritual. Reflective prompts for practicing manipulation in real-life scenarios. Exercises to build your confidence, sharpen your wit, and perfect your timing. Exclusive resources. PNN recommended reading list. Books and resources to further sharpen your understanding of psychology and influence. Access to a private online community. Join like-minded women to share strategies, wins, and experiences. Final note from Yarboy Rick, aka Mac Rich. A raw, unfiltered sign-off that empowers the reader to embrace their power unapologetically, reminding them that this book is not just a guide, but a gateway to a new way of life. Chapter 1. The Male Ego. A Fragile Fortress. Let's get one thing straight. Men are not that complicated. Men walk around like they've got it all figured out, but let me hit you with some truth. The male ego is about as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane. No matter how rich, how powerful, or how confident a man appears, every single one of them is driven by the same primal need: to feel validated. That's right, ladies. Validation is the secret sauce. And once you figure out how to feed it, or starve it, you've already won. The male ego isn't some impenetrable fortress. It's a fragile little bubble, just waiting for the right pressure point to burst. And lucky for you, this chapter is all about teaching you how to find those pressure points and make them work for you. Understanding the blueprint of the ego. Let's break it down. The male ego is built on 3 pillars: power, control, and recognition. These pillars might look strong, but trust me, they're easy to topple with the right tools. 1. Power. Men love to feel powerful, whether it's in their careers, relationships, or even their fantasy football leagues. The trick? Make him think he's in control while you're pulling the strings. 2. Control. Most men need to feel like they're steering the ship. But here's the catch. They'll gladly let you chart the course if you make them believe it was their idea. 3. Recognition. Compliments are the key to keeping a man invested. Stroke his ego just enough to keep him coming back for more, but never let him feel fully satisfied. Think of it like dangling a carrot in front of a horse. You keep him moving, but the carrot stays in your hand. The feed and starve technique. This is your bread and butter. The male ego thrives on attention, but here's the secret. Too much attention will spoil him. You need to balance feeding his ego with starving it just enough to keep him on his toes. Feed it. Compliment him in areas that matter to him: his intelligence, his strength, his ambitions. But keep it specific and rare. Overfeeding dulls the effect. Example: I love how you always have a plan. You make me feel so secure. Boom, he's putty in your hands. Starve it. Pull back when he gets too cocky. A well-placed silence or a subtle change in tone can make him question everything. Example: when he's bragging, just smile and say, that's interesting. Watch the doubt creep in. Identifying weak spots. Every man has a weak spot. Find it and you'll own him. Here are the top 3 to look out for. 1. Insecurity about status. Even the most alpha men worry about being outshined. Subtly suggest that he's almost at the top, and he'll bend over backward to prove himself. 2. Fear of losing you. Men hate feeling like they're replaceable. Create an aura of desirability that keeps him chasing. Never let him feel too comfortable. 3. Sexual validation. Let's be real. Men are wired to seek approval in the bedroom. Use this to your advantage by blending praise with strategic restraint. Make him work for your attention and he'll never stop. The power of ego manipulation. When you understand the male ego, you stop reacting and start directing. This isn't about being cruel or playing games. It's about learning how to navigate the world of men with precision and confidence. Men are predictable creatures, and once you see the patterns, you'll wonder how you ever let them run the show. Practical ritual. The ego reset. Here's a quick exercise to put your power into practice. 1. Identify his pillar. Is he driven by power, control, or recognition? Observe his behavior to figure out what matters most to him. 2. Test the waters. Give him a small dose of validation and observe his reaction. Does he light up when you praise his work ethic? Does he puff his chest when you mention his strength? Take note. 3. Apply pressure. Once you know his weak spot, start using the feed and starve technique to keep him engaged and on his toes. Closing thoughts. Ladies, this is just the beginning. Once you master the art of ego manipulation, you'll see how easy it is to bend men to your will. Remember, the male ego isn't a fortress, it's a fragile house of cards, and with this book, you hold the power to knock it down anytime you please. Next up, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of beta males and why they're the easiest prey in the game. Stay tuned, it only gets juicier from here. Chapter 2. Beta males, loyal, eager, and easy to mold. Why beta males are the easiest targets? Let's not sugarcoat this. Beta males are the softest targets in the game. They're the guys who live to please, who apologize when they're not even wrong, and who would rather bend over backward than rock the boat. These are the men who sit quietly in the shadow of the loud alpha, waiting for someone to recognize their worth. And guess what? That someone is you. The beauty of the beta male is that he's predictable. He thrives on praise, avoids conflict like the plague, and craves connection. Once you understand his wiring, you can mold him into whatever you want. A provider, a fixer, a cheerleader, without him ever realizing he's being played. How to spot a beta. Beta males don't come with a label, but there are a few telltale signs that scream easy to manipulate. Here's what to look for. 1. Overly agreeable. He never argues, never challenges you, and always says, "Whatever you want, babe." 2. Low self-confidence. He's constantly second-guessing himself and looking for your validation. 3. People-pleaser energy. He'll go out of his way to make you happy, even at his own expense. 4. Shy or reserved. He's not the life of the party, but he'll stand quietly in the corner, waiting for you to notice him. The power dynamic, turning him into your puppet. With a beta male, you don't need to fight for control. You already have it. The trick is to harness his natural submissiveness and channel it into something useful for you. Here's how to do it. 1. Build him up. Betas are insecure by nature, which makes them easy to control. Compliment him strategically, focusing on areas where he feels inadequate. Make him believe he's finally found someone who sees his worth, and he'll do anything to keep you around. Example: "You're so thoughtful. Most guys don't even pay attention to the little things like you do." Boom, he's hooked. Now he thinks he's special. 2. Reward his efforts. Betas thrive on positive reinforcement. Every time he does something for you, reward him with praise, affection, or attention. This creates a cycle where he associates pleasing you with feeling good about himself. 3. Set clear expectations. Beta males want direction. If you tell him exactly what you need, whether it's emotional support, financial help, or acts of service, he'll gladly provide it. The key is to make it seem like he's fulfilling his purpose by meeting your needs. Sexual manipulation, unlocking the beta's devotion. Here's the thing about beta males. They're not the most confident in the bedroom, which means they're often desperate for validation. Use this to your advantage by blending encouragement with subtle control. Appraise him sparingly. Let him feel like he's doing well, but don't give him too much. A simple, "I love how you're so attentive," is enough to keep him trying harder. Control the narrative. Guide him with gentle suggestions, making it seem like you're helping him discover how to please you. He'll be so focused on impressing you that he won't even notice you're running the show. Use sex as a reward. Withhold when necessary and give when he's met your expectations. He'll come to associate pleasing you in other areas of life with earning your attention in the bedroom. Beta pitfalls. What to watch out for. While beta males are the easiest to control, they do come with some risks if you're not careful. Here are the common pitfalls to avoid. 1. Becoming too predictable. If you overfeed his need for validation, he might start taking you for granted. Keep him guessing by pulling back occasionally. 2. Letting him get comfortable. A beta who feels too secure will stop putting in effort. Keep the tension alive by subtly reminding him that he's lucky to have you. 3. Over-reliance. Betas can become overly dependent on you for emotional support. While this might sound like a good thing, it can get exhausting if you're not careful. Set boundaries to protect your energy. Practical ritual, the beta binding spell. This is a step-by-step ritual for locking a beta male into your orbit. 1. Complement his unique traits. Pick something specific that sets him apart from other men, e.g., "You're so thoughtful. Most guys aren't like that." This will make him feel seen. 2. Create a small conflict. Let him feel like he might lose you. This could be as simple as pulling back your attention for a day or two. 3. Reel him back in. After the conflict, praise him for his efforts to win you over. This solidifies his belief that you're worth the chase. Why betas are the perfect backup plan. Even if you're chasing an alpha or a high-status man, having a beta in your corner is always a good move. Betas are loyal to a fault, which makes them perfect for emotional support, financial help, or even just a confidence boost. Keep one on the back burner, and you'll always have a safety net when other plans fall through. Closing thoughts. Beta males are the easiest prey in the game, but don't underestimate their value. With the right tactics, you can turn a beta into a devoted, dependable asset who's always there to cater to your needs. Next up, we're diving into the big dogs, alpha males. Think they're too tough to crack? Think again. You're about to learn how to break an alpha's ego and make him your willing servant. Let's go. Chapter 3. Alpha males. Breaking the bravado. The myth of the untouchable alpha. Let's get something straight. Alpha males think they run the show, but the reality? They're just betas with better PR. Sure, they're louder, cockier, and more dominant, but that doesn't make them untouchable. In fact, their bravado is their biggest weakness. Once you crack through that tough exterior, you'll find a man who's just as insecure as the rest. He just hides it better. Alpha males crave control, but here's the secret. They don't mind being controlled if you make them believe they're still in charge. This chapter is all about how to dismantle their egos, manipulate their need for dominance, and turn their power into your leverage. Understanding the alpha mindset. Alpha males are driven by 3 key traits. 1. Dominance. They thrive on being in control and having others follow their lead. 2. Competitiveness. Everything is a challenge to them, and they need to win, always. 3. Validation. Despite their outward confidence, they constantly seek approval to reaffirm their dominance. These traits make them seem invincible, but they also create glaring vulnerabilities. Once you understand how to exploit them, an alpha will be eating out of your hand. The art of alpha manipulation. Here's the thing about alpha males. They hate feeling like they're being controlled. So, The trick is to make them think every move was their idea. Here's how to do it. 1. Stroke his ego before you strike it. Compliment his leadership, intelligence, or strength, whatever he's most proud of. Build him up just enough to create trust, then subtly challenge him. Example: I love how you always take charge, but do you think there's a better way to handle this? Translation: You've planted doubt while still stroking his ego. Now he's rethinking his decisions and looking to you for guidance. 2. Challenge his dominance without overpowering him. Alphas respect strength, but they can't handle being directly overpowered. Use indirect challenges to make him feel like he's still in control while subtly shifting the power dynamic. Example: When he makes a bold statement, respond with a playful, "Oh, really? Prove it." Now he's on the defensive, trying to win your approval. 3. Play the game of availability. Alphas love the chase, so don't make yourself too available. Give him just enough attention to keep him hooked, but always stay slightly out of reach. This creates the illusion that he's working to win you over, even when you're the one pulling the strings. Using his competitiveness against him. Alphas need to win, and you can use this to your advantage in every situation. Here's how. In arguments, present your perspective as a challenge to his logic. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," say, "I don't know, that doesn't sound like the smartest move. Convince me." Now he's arguing for your position just to prove he's right. And in relationships, subtly remind him that other men are interested in you, even if they're not. This will trigger his competitive nature and make him work harder to keep you. In the bedroom, challenge him to outdo himself and watch how far he'll go to impress you. Alphas thrive on the idea that they're the best at everything, especially when it comes to physical connection. Sexual domination, the alpha's kryptonite. Alphas think they're gods in the bedroom, but here's a little secret. They're desperate for validation. The trick is to make him feel like he's in control while subtly guiding the experience. Give him control, then take it back. Start by letting him take the lead, then slowly shift the dynamic by making suggestions that make him feel like he's leveling up. Example: Whisper, "You know what would drive me crazy," and watch him bend over backward to make it happen. A play on his ego. Alphas thrive on praise, but don't overdo it. Instead, give him just enough to keep him coming back for more. Example: You're good, but I bet you could be even better. Now he's obsessing over how to meet your standards. Pitfalls and how to avoid them. Manipulating an alpha male is an art, and if you're not careful, you might hit resistance. Here are the common pitfalls to avoid. 1. Challenging him too directly. Alphas hate feeling undermined. If you come on too strong, he'll shut down or push back. Always use subtlety. 2. Overfeeding his ego. Too much praise will make him complacent. Keep him chasing your approval by mixing compliments with playful critiques. 3. Letting him take full control. If you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Always maintain subtle dominance, even when he thinks he's in charge. Practical ritual: the alpha takedown. Follow these steps to break through an alpha male's bravado and take control. 1. Start with admiration. Compliment his strengths to build trust. 2. Introduce doubt. Subtly challenge his decisions or abilities to make him seek your validation. 3. Create a chase. Pull back your attention just enough to make him work harder to win you over. 4. Guide the power dynamic. Use his competitiveness and ego against him to subtly shift the balance of control in your favor. Why breaking an alpha is so satisfying? There's nothing quite like watching an alpha male, someone who thinks he's untouchable, start to revolve around you. When you master the art of controlling an alpha, you'll realize that even the loudest, most dominant men are just as easy to manipulate as the quietest beta. The key is patience, strategy, and understanding how to play the long game. Closing thoughts. Alphas might seem intimidating at first, but trust me, they're just bigger targets with bigger egos. Once you crack the code, they're yours for the taking. In the next chapter, we're tackling the smooth talkers, the players and pretenders who think they're running the game. Spoiler alert, they're not. Let's keep going. Chapter 4. The players and pretenders, outplaying the game. The truth about players and pretenders. You know the type. Smooth talkers, full of charm, and always one step ahead. Or so they think. Players and pretenders thrive on the illusion of control. They're masters of seduction, quick with their words, and always looking for their next conquest. But here's the catch. They're just as predictable as the rest. Underneath the swagger is a man desperate to maintain his facade. And with the right moves, you can outplay even the slickest player. Players rely on patterns, and once you recognize them, you can flip the script. Pretenders, on the other hand, are just alphas in training, or betas in disguise, trying to seem like more than they are. Either way, they're no match for a woman armed with the strategies in this chapter. How to spot a player. Players are easy to identify if you know what to look for. Here are the classic signs. 1. Over-the-top charm. He knows exactly what to say to make you swoon, but it feels rehearsed. 2. Avoids emotional depth. He keeps conversations light and fun, but never lets you get too close. 3. Always busy. He's got a million excuses for why he can't commit, but somehow he always finds time for the chase. 4. Excessive confidence. He acts like he's God's gift to women, but that confidence often hides insecurity. Flipping the script on players. Players thrive on control, so the key to beating them is taking it away without them realizing it. Here's how. 1. Disarm him with indifference. Players are used to women falling for their charm. The moment you act unimpressed, you throw him off his game. Example. When he compliments you, smile and say, "Thanks, I get that a lot." Watch his confidence waver as he scrambles to stand out. 2. Set the pace. Players like to rush things to keep you from thinking too much. Slow it down and take control of the pace. Example. If he tries to move too fast, say, "Let's see if you can keep my interest first." Now he's working to prove himself. 3. Mirror his moves. Use his own tactics against him. Flirt, pull back, and keep him guessing. This creates a power dynamic where he's chasing you instead of the other way around. The pretender's weakness. Pretenders are a bit different from players. They try to seem confident and dominant, but their insecurity always gives them away. Pretenders are easy to manipulate because they're desperate to maintain the illusion. 1. Call out the act. Pretenders crumble when their facade is challenged. Use subtle humor to point out their inconsistencies. Example. If he brags about his success, respond with, "Wow, you're like a walking LinkedIn profile." He'll laugh, but deep down, he'll start questioning himself. 2. Feed his insecurity. When pretenders are constantly seeking validation, give it to him sparingly, then pull back to keep him on edge. Example. You're actually pretty impressive when you're not trying so hard. He'll bend over backward to prove himself. 3. Make him work for you. Pretenders want to feel important. Assign him tasks or roles that make him feel needed, then praise him when he delivers. Using their game to your advantage. Players and pretenders are great for short-term fun or as stepping stones to something better. Here's how to maximize the benefits while staying in control. 1. Keep him in the chase. Players live for the thrill, so never let him feel like he's won. Keep him guessing and wanting more. 2. Leverage his resources. Players and pretenders love to show off. Let them wine and dine you, take you on adventures, and prove their worth. 3. Always stay one step ahead. Players think they're the smartest in the room. Surprise them by predicting their moves and outmaneuvering them. Sex and the player, flipping the script. Players use sex as a tool to dominate, but you can flip the power dynamic with a few strategic moves. 1. Make him earn it. Players are used to getting what they want quickly. slow things down, and make him work harder than he's ever had to before. 2. Take the lead. When you're in control, the player loses his edge. Guide the experience, and he'll start to wonder who's really playing whom. 3. Keep him guessing. Use unpredictability to your advantage. Switch between passion and restraint, leaving him wanting more. Pitfalls and how to avoid them. Players and pretenders can be entertaining, but they're also tricky to handle. Here's what to watch out for. 1. Getting too attached. Remember, players thrive on short-term thrills. Don't let yourself fall for the illusion. 2. Believing their lies. Players are masters of manipulation. Always verify their claims before trusting them. 3. Letting them set the rules. If you're not careful, a player will try to dictate the dynamic. Stay in control at all times. Practical ritual, the player's downfall. This ritual is designed to disarm even the slickest player. 1. Start with indifference. When he tries to charm you, respond with polite detachment. 2. Shift the power dynamic. Take control of the pace, keeping him on his toes. 3. Reveal his insecurities. Use humor or subtle jabs to poke holes in his facade. 4. Leave him wanting more. End every interaction on your terms, leaving him chasing your attention. Why outsmarting players feels so good. There's nothing more satisfying than outplaying a man who thought he was in control. Players and pretenders may seem slick, but once you see through their act, they're just as easy to manipulate as the rest. The key is to stay sharp, stay confident, and always stay one step ahead. Closing thoughts. Players and pretenders love to think they're the ones running the game, but when you're armed with these strategies, they're nothing more than pawns on your chessboard. In the next chapter, we're stepping into the big leagues, the rich and powerful. Think their money makes them untouchable? Think again. Let's keep going. Chapter 5. The Rich and Powerful. Taming the Untouchables. The illusion of untouchability. Money, status, influence. These are the pillars that the rich and powerful build their identities on. They walk into rooms expecting heads to turn, conversations to pause, and the world to cater to their every whim. But here's the thing. They're just as human as everyone else, and their power is nothing more than an illusion when you know how to dismantle it. The wealthy and influential often rely on their money and status to control others. What they don't realize is that this reliance is their greatest weakness. Once you figure out how to make them crave you, your presence, your attention, your validation, they'll forget all about their power and start bending to your will. Understanding the rich man's psychology. Rich men are driven by two primary motivations: status maintenance and fear of loss. Both can be exploited to your advantage. 1. Status maintenance. Wealthy men are obsessed with their image. They need to be seen as successful, desirable, and in control. The key is to challenge this image in a way that keeps them seeking your approval. 2. Fear of loss. The more a man has, the more he fears losing it. This includes losing you. By positioning yourself as something he can't afford to lose, you gain the upper hand. The power play. How to control the wealthy. Rich men are used to people catering to them, so the trick is to stand out by being the one person who doesn't. Here's how. 1. Make him earn your attention. Wealthy men are accustomed to buying their way into everything. Refuse to be impressed by his money and make him work for your attention instead. Example. When he brags about his wealth, respond with, "That's nice, but what else do you bring to the table?" Now he's scrambling to prove his worth. 2. Challenge his confidence. The wealthy men often rely on their success to validate themselves. Gently challenge their decisions or opinions to make them second-guess themselves. Example. If he talks about a business deal, ask, "Do you think that was the smartest move?" Watch him explain himself, seeking your approval. 3. Be unimpressed by his wealth. A nothing disarms a rich man faster than someone who isn't wowed by his money. Treat his wealth as a background detail, not a defining trait. Example: that's great you have a yacht, but what's the last book you read? Shift the conversation to something deeper. Using his resources to your advantage. Rich men love to flaunt their wealth. Let them. Here's how to make his resources work for you without losing control. 1. Encourage generosity without demanding it. And subtly hint at things you want or need without outright asking. Wealthy men love the opportunity to show off their ability to provide. Example: I've always wanted to try insert luxury experience. Let him offer to make it happen. 2. Leverage his connections. And the rich often have powerful networks. Position yourself as someone worth introducing to his circle by showcasing your intelligence, charm, and confidence. 3. Reframe his spending as investment. And make him feel like everything he does for you is an investment in his own happiness or status. Example: I love how thoughtful you are with the things you do for me. It makes me feel so special. Now he feels validated and eager to do more. Sexual dynamics. The rich man's weak spot. Wealthy men are used to getting what they want, but that doesn't mean they're satisfied. Here's how to turn the tables in the bedroom. 1. Control the experience. The wealthy men are accustomed to dominance. Flip the script by taking control and making him follow your lead. This shift in power will keep him intrigued. 2. Make him feel special. Mold and compliment him in ways he hasn't heard before. Focus on qualities that go beyond his wealth, such as his personality or emotional depth, even if you're faking it. 3. Keep him guessing. The alternate between being passionate and reserved. Rich men thrive on the thrill of the chase, so never let him feel like he's completely won. Pitfalls and how to avoid them. Dealing with the rich and powerful comes with unique challenges. Here's how to navigate them. 1. Don't become a trophy. Wealthy men love to collect trophies to boost their image. Refuse to be just another item on his shelf by asserting your independence and value. 2. Avoid dependency. It's easy to get comfortable with his wealth, but dependency gives him power. Always maintain your own sense of autonomy. 3. Watch for power plays. Rich men often test boundaries to see how much control they have. Shut down these attempts early to maintain dominance. Practical ritual: the rich man's obsession. Follow these steps to create a dynamic where a wealthy man becomes addicted to your presence. 1. Present yourself as an equal. Approach him with confidence and self-respect, showing you're not easily impressed by wealth. 2. Challenge him gently. Use humor and subtle jabs to keep him on his toes. 3. Reward generosity. Praise him for thoughtful gestures, reinforcing the behavior without appearing greedy. 4. Always leave him wanting more. End interactions on your terms, keeping him eager for the next one. Why taming the rich and powerful feels like victory. When you master the art of controlling a wealthy man, you realize just how fragile their power really is. Their money might open doors, but it doesn't make them immune to the subtle art of influence. By the time you're done with them, they'll be wondering how you became the one thing they can't buy. Closing thoughts. The rich and powerful love to think they're untouchable, but you now have the tools to prove otherwise. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the finer art of managing relationships for the long term, how to keep control, maintain interest, and ensure that no matter what type of man you're dealing with, you stay in charge. Let's keep going. Chapter 6. The Long Game: Managing Relationships and Maintaining Control. Why short-term wins aren't enough. Here's the deal. Manipulating men isn't just about getting your way in the moment. It's about playing the long game. If you're not careful, even the most devoted alpha, beta, or billionaire will get comfortable and start testing boundaries. The key to maintaining power in any relationship is consistency. Staying one step ahead, keeping the spark alive, and ensuring they always crave you. This chapter dives into the strategies you need to not only win the game, but stay in control for the long haul. Building a power structure. To maintain control, you need to establish a foundation of dominance without making it obvious. Here's how. 1. Set the rules early. From the very beginning, establish what you will and won't tolerate. Make him respect your boundaries by asserting them firmly, but gracefully. Example: I love how ambitious you are, but I won't settle for someone who doesn't prioritize communication. Can you meet me there? Now he's already adjusting to meet your standards. 2. Control the flow of validation. Keep him hooked by alternating between praise and challenge. Never let him feel too secure in your approval. Comfort breeds complacency. 3. Be his source of stability. Become the one thing he relies on emotionally, intellectually, and even spiritually. When he starts associating you with security and support, he'll do anything to keep you close. Keeping him on his toes. Men lose interest when things become predictable. Here's how to keep the spark alive while maintaining your power. 1. Inject mystery into the routine. Once disappear occasionally. Not literally, but make yourself less available. Let him wonder where you are or what you're doing. This keeps him invested. Example: skip a reply for a few hours and then respond with, "Sorry, was caught up in something fun. How's your day?" Now he's curious about what you were doing without him. 2. Introduce new challenges. The men thrive on competition. Introduce new goals or challenges in the relationship that keep him working to impress you. Men example: I've been thinking about trying, insert activity. Would you be up for it? Now he's proving himself in a new area. 3. Switch up the dynamic. Occasionally let him feel like he's in control, only to take it back later. This back and forth keeps him engaged. The art of long-term seduction. Seduction isn't a one-time act, it's a continuous ritual. Here's how to keep the fire alive. 1. Use unpredictability as a weapon. Surprise him with small gestures of affection or passion at unexpected moments. This keeps him addicted to your energy. 2. Play with power dynamics. And sometimes let him win, only to reassert your dominance in subtle ways. This keeps the relationship dynamic and exciting. 3. Master emotional intimacy. Get him to open up about his vulnerabilities, but don't share all of yours. When he feels like you're his safe space, he'll become emotionally dependent on you. Handling power struggles. No matter how much control you establish, there will come a time when he pushes back. Here's how to handle it. 1. Stay calm and composed. The men test boundaries to see how much power they have. Don't react emotionally. Instead, respond with calculated poise. 2. Use silence as a weapon. When he tries to assert dominance, say nothing. Silence creates discomfort, forcing him to reflect on his actions. 3. Reaffirm your boundaries. If he crosses a line, remind him who's in charge. An example: I don't think that works for me. Let's figure out something that does. This keeps the conversation collaborative while maintaining control, ensuring he always craves you. Over time, men tend to get comfortable. Here's how to ensure he never stops chasing you. 1. Be the prize. Always prioritize your own growth and happiness. When he sees you thriving, he'll work harder to keep up. Example: take up a new hobby, start a side hustle, or focus on self-care. Let him see you as someone who's always evolving. 2. Create moments of absence. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Take time for yourself to let him miss you, then return with renewed energy and affection. 3. Be his fantasy and reality. Balance being his partner with being his ultimate fantasy. Keep the relationship exciting by blending emotional depth with playful seduction. Pitfalls to avoid. Even the most seasoned manipulator can fall into traps if they're not careful. Here's what to watch out for. 1. Getting complacent. Never assume your control is permanent. Relationships are dynamic, and power must be maintained. 2. Becoming overbearing. Too much control can push him away. Balance dominance with moments of vulnerability and affection. 3. Letting him gain the upper hand. If you notice him starting to assert more control, pull back and re-evaluate your strategy. Practical ritual. The long game blueprint. Follow this step-by-step guide to maintaining control in any long-term relationship. 1. Set the tone. Establish boundaries and expectations early. 2. Alternate praise and challenge. Keep him seeking your approval. 3. Maintain mystery. Stay unpredictable to keep him intrigued. 4. Reinforce boundaries. Don't let him test your limits. 5. Invest in yourself. Keep growing, thriving, and being the prize he can't afford to lose. Why mastering the long game matters. Winning a man's attention is easy. Keeping him hooked is the real challenge. When you master the long game, you don't just control the relationship, you redefine it. You become the center of his world, the person he can't imagine life without. And the best part? You'll always know that the power rests firmly in your hands. Closing thoughts. With the long game mastered, you're ready to navigate any relationship with confidence and control. In the next chapter, we'll delve into the ultimate strategies for dealing with men who push back, rebel, or try to flip the script. Spoiler alert, they don't stand a chance. Let's keep going. Chapter 7. When he pushes back, handling rebellion and power struggles. The reality of rebellion. No matter how much control you establish, every man will eventually push back. Whether it's testing boundaries, trying to reclaim power, or outright challenging you, rebellion is inevitable. But here's the truth. A power struggle is just another opportunity to win. The key is to stay calm, stay strategic, and remind him that you're the one steering this ship. This chapter is about handling resistance like a pro, flipping his rebellion into a moment of submission, and reinforcing your position as the one in control. Think of it as mental jujitsu, using his own energy against him to solidify your dominance. Why men rebel? Understanding the why behind his rebellion is the first step to dismantling it. Men push back for a few key reasons. 1. Ego bruising. If you've successfully taken control, he may feel his ego is threatened. Rebellion is his way of trying to reassert himself. 2. Fear of losing independence. Some men are scared of feeling trapped and act out as a defense mechanism. 3. Complacency. If he starts to feel too secure, he might test your boundaries just to see what happens. Strategies to handle pushback. 1. Stay calm, stay cool. The moment you react emotionally, you lose power. Instead, maintain your composure and let him reveal his cards. Example. If he says something challenging, respond with a calm, "That's interesting. Tell me more." He'll scramble to justify himself while you remain in control. 2. Reframe the conversation. If he's challenging your authority, subtly redirect the conversation to focus on his strengths while reinforcing your boundaries. Example. I love how passionate you are about this, but here's why I see it differently. Now you're acknowledging his input while holding your ground. 3. Leverage his need for validation. Men act out because they want attention or reassurance. Use this to your advantage by offering selective validation, then guiding him back to your desired outcome. Example. I get where you're coming from, and I love that you're thinking this through. Here's how we can make it even better. The silent treatment, a weapon of power. One of the most effective ways to handle rebellion is silence. Men hate silence because it forces them to confront their own behavior without distraction. Here's how to use it. When he challenges you, instead of arguing, pause and let the silence speak for itself. He'll feel the need to fill the gap, often by backtracking or apologizing. When he acts out, withdraw your attention completely. Silence creates discomfort, making him realize he's out of line. Turning resistance into submission. Rebellion is often a cry for attention or control. Flip the script by making him feel like his rebellion is actually working in your favor. 1. Reward good behavior. When he starts to backtrack or show remorse, acknowledge it with praise or affection. This reinforces the idea that submission leads to reward. 2. Use reverse psychology. If he's resisting your influence, subtly suggest the opposite of what you want. His instinct to rebel will drive him toward your desired outcome. Example: "You're right. Maybe this isn't the best idea. Let's just leave it for now." Watch as he insists on proving you wrong by doing exactly what you wanted. 3. Create the illusion of control. And let him think he's making the decisions, even when you're the one guiding him. This reduces resistance and keeps him invested. Example: "You're so good at figuring things out. What do you think we should do?" Then subtly steer his answer with suggestions. Dealing with extreme pushback. Sometimes men will escalate their rebellion, especially if they feel their ego is severely threatened. Here's how to handle extreme cases. 1. Stay firm on boundaries. If he crosses a line, call it out calmly but directly. Example: "I respect your feelings, but this isn't something I'm willing to compromise on." 2. Walk away, temporarily. If he refuses to back down, remove yourself from the situation. Absence creates discomfort and forces him to reflect. Example: "I think we both need some space to think this through. Let's talk later." 3. Reassess the dynamic. Then, if his rebellion becomes a pattern, it may be time to evaluate whether the relationship is still worth your energy. Remember, maintaining power doesn't mean sacrificing your peace. Practical ritual: the power reset. This ritual is designed to reassert control after a rebellion. 1. Pause and reflect. Don't react immediately. Take a moment to assess his behavior and decide on your next move. 2. Address the issue. Calmly bring up his behavior, focusing on the impact it has on the relationship. 3. Reframe the dynamic. Use validation, humor, or reverse psychology to guide him back into submission. 4. Reward compliance. Once he falls back in line, reinforce the behavior with praise or affection. Why power struggles are opportunities. Rebellion isn't a bad thing. It's a chance to re-establish dominance and strengthen the dynamic. Every time he pushes back and you handle it with grace and strategy, you solidify your position as the one in control. Closing thoughts. Men will always test boundaries, but now you're equipped to handle their rebellion with confidence and finesse. The next chapter will explore advanced tactics for creating lasting influence. How to ensure that no matter the man, the situation, or the challenge, you always come out on top. Let's dive in. Chapter 8. Advanced Tactics. Creating Lasting Influence. The Art of Total Domination. Now that you've mastered the basics, dissecting the male ego, manipulating betas and alphas, and handling pushback, it's time to take things to the next level. This chapter is about advanced strategies for creating lasting influence, the kind of power that makes you unforgettable, irreplaceable, and constantly in control. These are the tactics that separate the women who occasionally win the game from the ones who own it. Lasting influence isn't about short-term wins. It's about creating a dynamic where he sees you as essential to his life. When you master these techniques, you won't just have his attention, you'll have his loyalty, his devotion, and his willingness to do whatever it takes to keep you around. Understanding lasting influence. To establish lasting influence, you need to tap into the core of what drives him, his deepest desires, fears, and ambitions. Influence isn't about force, it's about making him choose to align with you because he sees you as indispensable. Here's how lasting influence works. 1. Become his source of validation. Men need to feel validated, and when you become the primary source of that validation, they'll do anything to maintain your approval. 2. Control through fulfillment. Identify what he's lacking, emotionally, intellectually, or physically, and position yourself as the only person who can fulfill that need. 3. Embed yourself in his world. The more you're woven into his daily life and goals, the harder it becomes for him to imagine life without you. Advanced techniques to maintain control. 1. The scarcity principle. People value what they believe they can't easily have. Make your attention feel rare and special, even in a long-term relationship. Example: be consistently present but occasionally withdraw your attention. When you return, make it feel like a gift. 2. Emotional anchoring. Create strong emotional moments that he associates with you. These could be deep conversations, shared experiences, or moments of vulnerability that bond him to you. Example: remember that time we stayed up all night talking about insert topic? I've never felt that connected to someone. This creates a sense of exclusivity. 3. Create dependency. Make yourself the solution to his problems, big or small. Whether it's helping him make decisions or offering emotional support, position yourself as the person he turns to. Example: I always feel like we figure things out so well together. What do you think about insert issue? 4. Shape his identity. Subtly influence how he sees himself by affirming traits you want him to embody. Over time, he'll unconsciously mold himself to fit the image you've created. Example: you're so thoughtful. It's one of the things I love most about you. Now he'll strive to live up to that description. The ritual of influence. To create lasting influence, you need to practice a daily ritual of subtle but consistent reinforcement. Here's the formula. 1. Morning affirmation. Start the day by giving him a small boost of validation or encouragement. Example: I know you're going to crush it today, you always do. 2. Midday check-in. Touch base during the day to show you're present without being overbearing. An example: a quick message like, thinking about you, how's your day going? 3. Evening reflection. End the day with a moment of emotional connection. An example: I love how you handled insert situation today. You always impress me. This daily ritual keeps you at the forefront of his mind, while reinforcing your role as his biggest cheerleader and emotional anchor. Maintaining the illusion of equality. Men often resist outright domination, so it's important to maintain the illusion that the relationship is equal, even when you're pulling the strings. Here's how to do it. 1. Share decision-making. Let him think he's making important decisions, but guide the process so the outcome aligns with your goals. Example: I trust your instincts. What do you think we should do about insert situation? Then offer subtle suggestions to steer him. 2. Acknowledge his strengths. Highlight areas where he excels, even if you're secretly doing most of the work. This keeps his ego intact. Example: I couldn't have done this without your support. 3. Balance control with vulnerability. Occasionally show moments of vulnerability to make him feel needed. This deepens the bond while keeping him invested. Example: I don't know what I'd do without you sometimes. You always know how to keep me grounded. Advanced sexual tactics. Physical connection is one of the most powerful tools for influence. Here's how to elevate it to the next level. 1. Keep it fresh. Surprise him with new experiences or techniques to keep the excitement alive. Example: plan an unexpected romantic evening that plays into his fantasies. 2. Control the narrative. Take the lead occasionally, but always leave him wanting more. Alternate between passion and restraint to keep him intrigued. 3. Tie physical and emotional intimacy. Use physical connection as a way to reinforce emotional intimacy. Make every encounter feel meaningful and unique. Pitfalls to avoid. Even advanced tactics can backfire if not executed carefully. Here's what to watch out for. 1. Over-control. Too much dominance can make him feel suffocated. Maintain balance by giving him small wins. 2. Inconsistency. Failing to reinforce your influence regularly can weaken the dynamic. Stay consistent with your strategies. 3. Neglecting your own growth. Always prioritize your personal development. When you continue to evolve, he'll see you as someone worth investing in. Practical ritual, the influence anchor. Follow this step-by-step process to establish and maintain lasting influence. 1. Identify his core needs. What drives him? Validation, security, achievement. 2. Position yourself as essential. Show him how you fulfill those needs better than anyone else. 3. Reinforce the bond daily. Use the morning, midday, and evening rituals to stay present in his mind. 4. Evolve with him. Adapt your strategies as his needs and goals change. Why lasting influence is the ultimate power. Short-term wins are satisfying, but true power comes from influence that endures. When you embed yourself in his life as someone he can't live without, you become more than a partner. You become the center of his world. And the best part? He'll think it was his idea all along. Closing thoughts. With these advanced tactics, you've reached the pinnacle of power. You're no longer just playing the game, you've mastered it. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of reinvention, ensuring that you remain an enigma and a force to be reckoned with for years to come. Let's keep going. Chapter 9. The Art of Reinvention. Staying an Enigma. Why reinvention is necessary. No matter how much control you've established, relationships, like anything in life, require evolution. Comfort is the enemy of excitement, and complacency can dull even the most intoxicating dynamic. The secret to maintaining your power and influence is reinvention. Staying unpredictable, exciting, and always one step ahead. When you master the art of reinvention, you ensure that he never truly figures you out, and never stops craving you. This chapter is about becoming an enigma, someone who constantly evolves, keeps the game interesting, and remains irreplaceable. Reinvention isn't about changing who you are. It's about revealing new facets of yourself at just the right time to keep him hooked. The principles of reinvention. 1. Never be fully known. And the moment someone thinks they have you figured out is the moment they start taking you for granted. Always keep a part of yourself private, something that only you understand. Example: share your thoughts and feelings sparingly, letting him earn your vulnerability over time. 2. Evolve with purpose. Reinvention isn't random, it's strategic. Choose areas of growth that align with his desires, fears, or goals, making yourself continuously relevant to his life. Example: if he values ambition, pursue a new career goal. If he's drawn to creativity, take up a new hobby that showcases your depth. 3. Surprise him regularly. And introduce new sides of yourself to keep him intrigued. These surprises don't need to be dramatic. They can be as simple as sharing a hidden talent or trying something unexpected together. Practical ways to reinvent yourself. 1. Redefine your appearance. Men are visual creatures, and a change in your appearance can reignite their interest. This doesn't mean you need a full makeover. Small tweaks can have a big impact. An example: try a new hairstyle, experiment with your wardrobe, or add a signature scent that becomes uniquely associated with you. 2. Expand your skills. Learn something new that enhances your value in his eyes. Whether it's a new language, a creative talent, or a physical activity, your growth will captivate him. Example: I've been learning how to cook, insert dish. Want to be my taste tester? Now he's involved in your evolution. 3. Shift the dynamic. And occasionally reverse roles to keep him on his toes. If you've been dominant, let him take the lead temporarily. Then take it back at just the right moment. The mystery factor. Reinvention works best when paired with an air of mystery. The more he feels like there's always more to discover about you, the more invested he becomes. 1. Withhold information strategically. Don't overshare. Let him wonder about your thoughts, feelings, or plans. Example: if he asks about your day, give a playful but vague answer. It was interesting. I'll tell you about it later. 2. Create intrigue through actions. And let your actions speak louder than words. Do something unexpected that makes him question what's going on in your mind. Example. Plan a spontaneous outing or bring up a new idea you've been exploring without warning. 3. Always be unpredictable. Keep him guessing about what you'll do next. This could mean changing your routine, introducing new activities, or surprising him with a fresh perspective. Reinvention in the bedroom. Physical reinvention is just as important as emotional and intellectual evolution. Keeping things fresh and exciting in the bedroom ensures he never loses interest. 1. Explore new experiences. Introduce variety by trying new ideas, positions, or fantasies. Keep things playful and open-minded. Example. I read about something we should try. Are you game? This creates anticipation and excitement. 2. Take control, then relinquish it. Alternate between being the dominant and submissive partner. This keeps the dynamic fresh and unpredictable. 3. Focus on the details. Small changes, like lighting, music, or setting, can make familiar experiences feel brand new. The power of self-growth. Reinvention isn't just for his benefit, it's for yours. Constantly growing and evolving keeps you confident, fulfilled, and always in control of your narrative. The more you invest in yourself, the more power you hold in any dynamic. 1. Pursue personal goals. Whether it's a career milestone, a fitness journey, or a creative pursuit, your growth will make you more attractive and influential. Example. I've been working on this project and it's been so rewarding. Share your progress to inspire admiration. 2. Build your independence. Men are drawn to women who don't rely on them for validation or purpose. Show him that your happiness is self-sustained. Example. I've been loving this new hobby. It's been such a great escape. 3. Embrace change fearlessly. Reinvention requires courage. Be willing to let go of old habits, perspectives, or dynamics that no longer serve you. Pitfalls to avoid. Reinvention is a powerful tool, but it can backfire if misused. Here's what to avoid. 1. Reinvention overload. Changing too often or too drastically can confuse or overwhelm him. Balance consistency with evolution. 2. Losing authenticity. Reinvent yourself for you, not just for him. Growth should feel natural and aligned with your true self. 3. Neglecting the basics. Reinvention works best when paired with the core principles of influence and control you've already established. Practical ritual, the Enigma strategy. Here's a step-by-step guide to becoming and staying an enigma. 1. Choose an area for growth. Identify one aspect of yourself to evolve or enhance. 2. Introduce change gradually. Reveal your reinvention slowly, letting him notice the difference over time. 3. Maintain mystery. Pair your evolution with subtle intrigue to keep him guessing. 4. Celebrate your growth. Share your achievements with confidence, but without seeking excessive validation. Why reinvention keeps you in control? Men are wired to chase what they don't fully understand, and reinvention ensures that you're always one step ahead. By continuously evolving, you stay fresh, exciting, and impossible to replace. You become the woman he's endlessly drawn to, because he knows there's always more to discover. Closing thoughts. With the art of reinvention mastered, you've reached the pinnacle of influence. You're no longer just playing the game. You are the game. In the final chapter, we'll tie everything together, creating a blueprint for a life of power, control, and endless evolution. Let's finish strong. Chapter 10. The Final Blueprint. Owning Your Power. Bringing it all together. You've made it. Over the course of this book, you've learned how to master the game, how to dissect the male ego, manipulate every type of man, maintain control, and even reinvent yourself to stay irresistible. But knowledge alone isn't enough. To truly own your power, you need a plan. a blueprint to guide you through every interaction, every relationship, and every challenge. This chapter is your ultimate guide to living the life of control, influence, and unapologetic dominance you deserve. It's not just about manipulating men anymore. It's about owning your life and thriving on your terms. The 3 pillars of power. To maintain your power long-term, you must always focus on 3 key areas. 1. Self-mastery. Your confidence, independence, and sense of self-worth are your greatest weapons. When you fully own who you are, no one can take your power away. Ritual. Spend time each day affirming your strengths and investing in your growth. 2. Emotional intelligence. Understanding not just his emotions, but your own, is the key to influence. Control starts with self-awareness. Ritual. Reflect on your interactions, what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve. 3. Strategic evolution. And the game never ends, and neither does your growth. Constantly evaluate your goals, your relationships, and your methods to stay ahead. Ritual. Set monthly goals for self-improvement and relationship dynamics. The final playbook. How to handle any man. 1. The beta male. Try and keep him loyal by feeding his need for validation and guidance. Use his eagerness to please to your advantage, but don't let him get too comfortable. Mantra. He's mine because I give him purpose. 2. The alpha male. Break his bravado with subtle challenges and controlled validation. Make him feel like he's in charge while you quietly steer the ship. Mantra. He thinks he leads, but he follows me. 3. The player. Disarm him with indifference and keep him chasing with unpredictability. Use his need to win as a tool to keep him invested. Mantra. He plays the game, but I own the board. 4. The rich and powerful. Refuse to be impressed by his money or status. Position yourself as an equal, or better, and make him work to prove his worth to you. Mantra. He has the wealth, but I hold the power. 5. The rebellious type. Handle pushback with calm authority, using silence and strategic redirection to reassert your control. A mantra. He fights because he knows I'm in control. Creating a ritual of power. To live a life of influence and control, you need daily habits that keep you focused and in charge. Here's a simple daily ritual to maintain your power. 1. Morning affirmation. Start the day by affirming your goals and strengths. Example, I am confident, powerful, and in control of my life. 2. Midday reflection. Check in with yourself to evaluate your interactions and adjust your strategy if needed. Example, what's working? What needs to change? 3. Evening gratitude. End the day by celebrating your wins and acknowledging your growth. Example, today I stayed true to my power. I'm proud of myself. Avoiding common pitfalls. Even the most powerful women can stumble if they're not careful. Here's how to avoid the most common traps. 1. Overplaying your hand. Then too much manipulation can backfire, making him feel cornered or resentful. Balance control with moments of vulnerability. 2. Neglecting your own happiness. Power isn't just about controlling others. It's about owning your life. Make sure your goals and happiness always come first. 3. Becoming complacent. At the moment you stop growing, you start losing. Keep evolving, learning, and refining your strategies. Living unapologetically. This book isn't just about controlling men. It's about taking control of your life. You are powerful, intelligent, and capable of shaping your world however you see fit. Never apologize for owning your desires, your ambitions, or your influence. You don't need to fit into anyone else's mold. You are the mold. Your mantras for life. Carry these mantras with you as a reminder of your power. 1. I am the prize, always. 2. I control the narrative, not the other way around. 3. My growth is my power, and my power is limitless. 4. He needs me more than I'll ever need him. 5. I live unapologetically because I deserve nothing less. Closing thoughts. You now hold the ultimate blueprint for mastering relationships, power dynamics, and your own life. But remember, this book is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you put these principles into practice and make them your own. Go forth, live unapologetically, and let the world see the unstoppable force that you are. The end of the beginning. Congratulations, you're officially a woman in control. Now go out there and own it. Bonus materials for mastering the game: how to handle beta, alpha, and every man in between. Bonus material. 1. Male Archetypes Cheat Sheet. A quick reference guide to identify and strategize for each type of man you'll encounter. Keep this handy for real-time application. 1. The beta male. Traits: agreeable, loyal, eager to please, avoids conflict. And strategy: provide consistent validation, set clear expectations, and reward his efforts. Keep him chasing small victories to maintain loyalty. 2. The alpha male. Traits: dominant, competitive, ego-driven, thrives on control. Strategy: stroke his ego sparingly, challenge him subtly, and let him think he's leading while you quietly pull the strings. 3. The player. Traits: charming, confident, evasive, thrives on the thrill of the chase. Strategy: disarm with indifference, keep him guessing, and use his competitiveness to your advantage by creating obstacles he can't resist. 4. The rich and powerful. Traits: wealthy, status-obsessed, image-conscious, fears loss of control. Strategy: refuse to be impressed, make him earn your attention, and position yourself as indispensable to his image and life. 5. The pretender. A trait: insecure, tries to appear alpha, seeks validation constantly. A strategy: call out his act with humor, feed his insecurities strategically, and keep him working to prove himself to you. Bonus material 2. The art of body language. Mastering nonverbal communication is key to exerting influence. Use this guide to dominate any interaction without saying a word. 1. Power stance. Stand with your shoulders back, chin slightly lifted, and feet firmly planted. This posture exudes confidence and control. 2. The controlled smile. Smile sparingly but genuinely. A subtle, confident smile can disarm men and make them crave your approval. 3. The silent pause. Use pauses to create tension or emphasize your dominance. When you speak less, you appear more in control. 4. Mirroring. Subtly mimic his movements to build rapport. Once he feels comfortable, lead the interaction by changing your posture first and watching him follow. Bonus material. Scripts for every situation. Pre-written responses for common scenarios to keep you in control and ensure you always have the upper hand. 1. When he compliments you. Response: thank you, I get that a lot. Why? This maintains your confidence and mystery without overly feeding his ego. 2. When he tries to argue. Response: I see your point, but I'm curious. Why do you feel so strongly about that? Why? This keeps the conversation calm while subtly shifting the focus back to him. 3. When he asks for validation. Response: you're good, but I think you're capable of being even better. Why? This motivates him to keep trying to impress you without making him feel fully satisfied. 4. When he gets cocky. Response: you're confident, I like that, but do you ever wonder if there's more to it? Why? This brings him back down to earth while leaving him intrigued. Bonus material 4. Reflective journal prompts. Use these prompts to evaluate your strategies and refine your approach. 1. What worked well in my interactions today? Why? 2. What could I have done differently to maintain control? 3. What part of myself am I ready to evolve or reinvent? 4. Which of his traits can I leverage further, and how? 5. How am I prioritizing my growth and happiness in this dynamic? Bonus material 5. The 10 Commandments of Control. Your quick reference rules for navigating any situation with power and poise. 1. Thou shalt always remain confident, no matter the circumstance. 2. Thou shalt never reveal all of thyself, keep some mystery alive. 3. Thou shalt balance dominance with moments of vulnerability. 4. Thou shalt reward good behavior sparingly but meaningfully. 5. Thou shalt not overfeed his ego, always leave him wanting more. 6. Thou shalt maintain independence and pursue personal growth. 7. Thou shalt set boundaries early and enforce them consistently. 8. Thou shalt stay unpredictable to keep him intrigued. 9. Thou shalt always evaluate and refine thy strategy. 10. Thou shalt never apologize for owning thy power. Bonus material 6. Recommended reading list. Books and resources to sharpen your understanding of psychology, influence, and power dynamics. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. Influence. The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Why Men Love Bitches by Sherry Argoff. Attached. The Science of Adult Attachment by Amir Levine and Rachel S.F. Heller. A Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill for understanding ambition and wealth-driven mindsets. Bonus material 7. Access to a private online community. Join an exclusive group of like-minded women for support, strategy sharing, and empowerment. Features. A live Q&A sessions on applying the principles from the book. A forum to share your wins and challenges. Access to bonus exercises and real-life case studies. These bonus materials ensure you have everything you need to apply the lessons from the book, refine your strategies, and continue growing in your journey of power, influence, and control. Thank me. Now your boy Rick, aka Mac Rich,